panic in Europe's financial markets.
The severity of this recession will cause more pain before it ends.
European Union cannot bail out Greece. You've seen the government of Spain coming out and saying, we have the same problem. Portugal says the same thing. There's some talk that Italy could be in trouble.
US intelligence officials are growing more and more concerned that foreign operatives are surveilling computer systems that control America's infrastructure.
It's now clear this cyber threat is one of the most serious national security challenges we face as a nation.
And it might have the ability to go in and cripple financial networks, nuclear plants, chemical plants, all of which would have devastating effect.
North Korea has now joined the Pacific Rim Cooperation Organization. The group's formation is a clear warning that further intervention in the region by the U.S. and its allies will not be tolerated.
A South Korean TV station reports that North Korean leader Kim Jong-il suffered this stroke. His third and youngest son, Kim Jong-un, has been tapped to inherit power. Promoted from a nobody to high political and military office.
As a kid, he was really loved by his father because he had a fit of anger.
He will now lead the world's fourth largest army. Groups are fighting against Russia's government from within its borders. Rebels were planning to increase their violent campaign as the country prepares for the presidential elections.
Russia's pouring more troops into the Georgian capital Tbilisi.
Ex-Soviet Georgia has become a focus of tension between Russia and the West.
We're working to reset our relationship with Russia. U.S. soldiers are being deployed with renewed conflicts in the Middle East, South Asia, and the Korean Peninsula.
Critics suggest that these our shores unprotected.
South Korea accused the North of firing a torpedo at its Cheonan warship.
South Koreans continue to protest against North Korea's attack on Yongbyon Island.
Some are calling the attack a crime against humanity.
North Korea continues to act in a provocative and belligerent manner. There are consequences to such actions.
Fueling the fire, the North has ripped up non-aggression pact.
This is an incredibly immature regime in the
The
North.
rogue North Korean dictator makes a wild threat to wipe out the United States.
North Korea is like a spoiled child.
North Korea is a danger to the world.
What would North Korea possibly hope to
What
get?
will be the next step?
What is it that they want?
What are they preparing for?
Share prices continued to tumble. Lehman Brothers was forced to declare itself bankrupt.
I think what we see in society today is a result of Christians being apathetic and complacent.
Largest single point drop.
Many are selling everything, even at a loss, just to get out of the market.
Many put high on their list, but is the Christian faith now losing ground in America?
Unity is collapsing under the pressure, leading only to chaos and confusion.
The uncoordinated moves by European leaders has added uncertainty.
Demonstrators are angry about the government's handling of the country's economic crisis and soaring unemployment.
The percentage of people who call themselves Christians has dropped by 10% in a generation.
Exchange dropped more than a heart-stopping 1,000 points in early trading, its biggest drop ever.
The Prime Minister is now facing a motion of censure in the Parliament from the opposition, which claims soldiers used excessive force. Many Christians believe it's a wake-up call. Hundreds gathered to pray for America and the faith.
Two vicious battles were breaking out across the city.
Around the world, stock markets continue their terrifying climb.
More violence remains a distinct possibility.
The economic woes of America and the economic woes of many other economies of the world, the great push is going to be toward a global, one-world.
Thanks to microchip under your skin, it's all there. Science fiction 20 years ago, but a biometric reality today.
The Avanti Corporation announced today it has begun testing its first human implant.
Just announced this week that he wants to see a new financial condition in the world. And he also says, I want to see a one-world government led by a one-world leader.
What's going on here, my friend?
broadcast system. We are under attack by conventional forces of the Russian army. It is believed the lead waves were disguised as commercial charter flights. Communications have broken down with other parts of the country. Large areas of the Midwest may have been overrun.
They know who all of you are. They're looking for you.
You're 40 miles behind enemy lines.
I just want to go home. They took a lot of people away.
There's a new class of weapon. Everything went offline and never came back.
What am I supposed to do?
I'm in a fight. Anybody who wants to join is welcome to it.
We inherited our freedom. Now it's up to all of us to fight for it.
This is a certified true copy of my live statement of birth. You can get this by applying for it at the Registrar General. They'll give it to you. And it's very interesting because this is where it all began. This is the foundation document. All identification is generated from this document. And so if the foundation document is no good, anything that's made from it is no good. That means driver's licenses, health cards, everything. Now what they did here, this is exactly what he meant when he said, soon every American will be required to register their biological property. Now your parents didn't realize what they were doing when they filled this out, and these didn't exist before 1933. Birth records were recorded in Scripture. And these only came into being in 1933 when they hatched this plan. They created a corporate fiction with a name just like yours. In doing this, they registered and monetized the spirit and soul of a living being. This denotes ownership. And when your parents were tricked into filling this out, they allowed your spirit and your soul to be monetized. And futures were sold on you.
Spirit and soul.
Now, this is my birth certificate. This is actually a share. See this red number? This A, I'm born in Canada. This is a Class A share. Now, this is called a CUSIP number, and all securities require a CUSIP number, and that's what this is. And you are held as collateral to secure the debt, which our government owes to international bankers. So you and me and all these people here are actually collateral, and we don't even own our lives. We are chattel, and we believe we're free. I made an application to the Registrar General, and I got my original social insurance application. Now, before they sent it to me, they put a little piece of paper over this before they photocopied it, because my friend has his, and they didn't block this out, and when you hold it up, you see Bank of Canada. It is said that the best slaves are the ones who don't know that they're enslaved, and we all have invisible chains on us, and we don't know it.
What truth? That you are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
We're talking about big bucks. We're not talking about hundreds of millions or even hundreds of billions now. We're talking about trillions of dollars. The obligation is immeasurable. Nobody can measure it.
This door's wide open now. It's going to happen, whether you like it or not.
Do you notice that they have the same amount of ink on them?
Do you notice that they're made out of the same virtually worthless stuff? It's paper. Did you get it? It's paper. When we create money, we have created an instrument of value that has no value of its own. And it's just as expensive or inexpensive to print the 20 as it is to print the 1. In January of 1913, in December of 1913, he signed the Federal Reserve Act, bringing the Federal Reserve System into place in America, and did what Thomas Jefferson said must never happen. He took the control of the money away from the people by taking it away from the Congress and gave it to a group of private individuals who have to pay taxes on the money they loan the government.
Best way to destroy the planet. TTIP, screwing you over. But it's okay, it's good for business.